Have you always wanted to play a Balance Druid, but maybe find it a little bit too hard or having too many spells or keybinds? Well, I got you covered. I got the perfect one-button solution for you with a one-button build and everything you need. In this video here, in this guide, we will be going through stats, talents, rotation, and also going to show you a little bit of boss gameplay so you can actually see how it is played. But after you watch this video here, you will have everything you need. All the talent export codes, UI export codes, cooldown manager export codes, and all the things you need to actually import into your game, you can find on my Discord. It's all the link in the description, but everything you need to export into your game to make this work is in the Discord as well. Well, let's get to it. So when it comes to stats, Balance Druid is actually quite easy when it comes to stats. It's very out of the box, no hidden talents that is doing different things. It's just very out of the box. First of all, we recommend using Mastery. Mastery just flat out increases all your nature damage and all your arcane damage. And all your spells is basically going to be casting arcane and nature damage, which is fantastic. You're also going to have some stellar magic, but stellar magic is a combination of arcane and nature and stuff like that. But still, Mastery, great, increasing all your damage. Mastery used to be something annoying in the previous expansion because it required you to actually have your damage over time abilities active on your targets before it worked. But they removed that, and now now Mastery just works all the time, which is perfect. Next on we have Haste. Basically, Haste is increasing your cast speed, it's reducing the global cooldown, and when we are using the single button assistant, we are punished with a 25% additional global cooldown. So it's nice to have Haste because it actually, increases it decreases the global cooldown, so we can cast spells faster. Also, it increases, so when you cast Moonfire and Sunfire on a target, for 10 seconds, it's gonna tick every, let's say, 1 second. The more haste you have, the more ticks it's actually going to have. It's going to tick faster, so you will actually be dealing more damage over time, which is pretty cool. So haste, very importantly, because lower global cooldown, faster cast speed, and more tick rates from your damage over time, which is great. Versatility, just flat out increase your damage, flat out increase your healing, but also reduces the damage you take. And then we have lastly Critical Strike, where all your damage and healing has a chance to do double healing, double damage. But as a Balance Druid, it's not really the most important thing, so it's kind of like the lowest one. Also, just to mention, before all the secondary stats, what I always recommend is going with the highest eye level / upgrade level. That means, for example, here you can see I have a mythic item. This mythic item here, I would never go down in upgrade level. I would always stay on the mythic one. If I had a champion one, I would never replace it with adventure. So no matter the secondary stats on my items, I would always go with the highest eye level because it's going to give me so much more intellect. And in my opinion, that is way more important. So always go with the highest eye level / upgrade level on an item. Never go down an upgrade level, even if the secondary stats was better, because the intellect amount you're going to get is going to increase all your damage and so on by a lot. So, always intellect item level first and then go with the secondary stats after that. But yeah, that's the stats. So when it comes to talents, we are actually using a lot of inspiration from Wowhead. So Wowhead, of course, has some DPS builds, which is very good. They're very strong, very, they have done a lot of testing and calculation to actually make a build that deals most damage. Single button assistant, it's important to understand when you use the single button assistant, this button here was originally meant for damage dealers, which is why it's using a really perfect damage rotation dealing damage. So when it uses a perfect damage rotation, we should also have talents that is actually the one that deals most damage. Of course, I will be testing the talents. I will make sure that we don't have a talent that is interrupting the flow, kind of like Frostdeath Knights with Breath of Centagosa that doesn't work with single button assistant, and other specs I could probably mention. But in this case here, the meta build from Wowhead is actually also the best for the single button assistant. So yes, I'm just going to mention it before someone is like, oh, this build is very close to the meta builds. Yes, because it's the build that deals the most damage. And we also got to be using it with a single button assistant. So, but if you go to any of my tank builds, if you go to any of my healer builds, they are very customized by me because we need to change talents to actually make it work with the tank build or the healer builds. But with the damage dealers, it's actually going to be very close to the same. So if you're playing a damage dealer and I don't have that build yet, you could just take an FD meta build and you should be fine. Of course, test it, but here I have tested it. Everything works fine with this build here. I did change from Perfectly Honed to Astral Influence since I kind of want to have a little bit more yard range instead of like a survivability, but you can change around which one you prefer. In the DPS build for dungeons, we are using Elun's Chosen, which is currently the meta since it has like a lot of heavy flow, deals great damage for AoE. So it's really like strong when it comes to massive AoE damage. When it comes to the raid build, we are using Keep of the Grove because it has a great great single target damage because it's utilizing a lot of the force of nature. So Keep of the Grove is currently the meta when it comes to single target damage, and Elun's Chosen is currently the meta when it comes to multiple target damage. Nothing really big needs to be talked about this talent here, this talent spec here. We are using Incation Chosen of Elune. We're not using Convoke, so we don't need to use any macros. We're also using Fury of Elune, but don't worry, Fury of Elune is automatically being cast inside single button assistant, so you don't have to worry about that. And we also have Radiant Moonlight. But basically everything inside this talent build here is passively, and as you can see here, we don't have anything else you need to pretty much use with this build here. You only have to use your single button assistant, and you have to use your incarnation whenever you're gonna be bursting. So it's very cool that we actually can use our own burst whenever we want, but it's very nice. So left side, a lot of survivability, increasing some arcane, some spell damage. Mostly all of this is crowd control. As you can see here, we got crowd control, so CC, some more buff to yourself, a lot of self healing, more CC. And then, of course, we have Elune Chosen, which is the best one for AoE. And then in the right side, we have a very, very standard meta build, which is just about dealing a lot of damage, multiple targets, especially focusing on Starfall. And yeah, I mean, nothing really special is going to be mentioned with this talent here because nothing of this is actually going to impact your rotation. It's more just like it deals a lot of AoE damage, this build here. And then you have the other build here, which is the one that deals a lot of single target damage. Usually in my other videos with, for example, the Holy Paladin or other builds, I'm explaining a lot why, this build is great because it does a lot of self-healing or it heals from damage. But in this case here, it's just out of the box. Like, there's nothing really to explain here. This build here as you can see here, we got the dungeon build. It focuses more on multiple target damage. You can see here where we have Fury of Elune and Radiant Moonlight, where the raid build here is more focused. You can see if we turn around, it's more focused on single target damage, where if you just wait for 2 seconds here, you can see here in the raid build, we're more focused on single target damage. For example, we have Deny Stream, and also, of course, in the raid, you can see Deny Stream. We also have here Orbit Breaker instead, but we also are using the Force of Nature together with the Keep of the Grove. So again, I know usually I explain more about the talents when it comes to the specs, but this one is just so simple. It's just out of the box. Everything is passive. You don't have to think about anything. It's just damage that's going to happen automatically over time. So yeah, out of the box. Very easy talent explanation for this one here. But yeah, again, Elune Chosen for dungeons, open world, leveling, whatever you're doing. Keep of the Grove only for raid. Only use it, the raid build in the raid. Nothing else. That's it. Let's move on. When it comes to the rotation, it's actually also very simple. Like, this build here is just such a simple single button build. So if you really need something simple, you are going to love this build. So the single button rotation is going through spells like Fury of Elune. It's actually also going to be using your Lunar Eclipse for you. So your Eclipse that you need to use yourself up here. It goes through that automatically for you. It uses Moonfire, Starfall, Starfire, Star Search, Sunfire, and Wrap. So it's automatically going to automatically dot up your target. It's automatically going to find out if there's more than one target or multiple targets. If there is more than one target, if there's more than one target, like 2 to 3 targets, it's actually going to be spamming. It's going to be spamming Starfall and Starfire, because that's AoE spells. But if there's only one target, it's going to be spamming Wrath and Star Searches. In this case here, it's kind of like a bit of annoying, because even though I'm attacking this mob over here, it still thinks these are also there. So it's kind of like, attack them all. But I'm going to see if I can make it false here. So again, now it uses... because I have spell that automatically jumps over there, it just keeps like using AoE abilities. But basically with this rotation here, and that's why I really love this spec here, you technically just press 1 all the time. It will automatically throw down, as we just mentioned before, it will automatically throw down Fury of Elune, Lunar Eclipse, and it's going to use automatically rotate like your cooldowns, like your small minor cooldowns, which is amazing. And you don't even have to think about if it's a single target, a multiple target, it will take care of that for you as well. The only thing you have to think about when you're not pressing, when you're pressing 1, is that you need to consider, let me just move that one down there. The only thing you need to think about is when you're using Incarnation Chosen of Elune. Basically, Celestial Body Align maintaining both Eclipse are granting 10% haste. So it will give you both the Eclipse from Solar and Lunar, which means it's going to increase your Nature spell, it's going to increase your Arcane damage, and so on. Beside of that, we also get the upgrade down here, where an improved movement can form that grants both Eclipses and any learned Celestial Alignment bonuses and 10% critical strike chance. So basically, also now, you're going to be getting additionally critical strike as well. And we can see here. And then we also have this one here, reduce the astral power cost of Star Surge by 10 and astral power cost of Starfall. So basically it does a lot of like giving more haste, giving more crit, increasing all your damage because you're going to have both eclipses on, and it's also going to give you reduce the power cost of things. So you can see here, we're going to use it, boom, and here you can see both eclipses are active, haste increased by 10, critical strike chance increased by 10, and you get up like, yeah. So now you technically just like spam damage, and that's it. So I would recommend this one here has a 2-minute cooldown. So don't just waste on like one mob. I would recommend like saving it, since we have 2 charges, which is amazing. You could use like 1 charge for like a very big group of mobs, and if you know that there's still a long time till the boss is actually coming, then save the 2nd charge for the boss. Or if the boss is just about to round the corner, save both charges for the boss, and so on. But don't sit on it. Use it, because it's only 2 minutes, and usually a big pack of mobs is taking 2 minutes to delete. So usually when you use it in the start of a very big pool, it will be ready again after the pool, so don't sit on it. Okay, so that's your main rotation. You have your number 1, which is of course our single button rotation here that you drag down here, boom, that's it. Then we have Incarnation. Then we also have Regrowth. I mean, in case someone needs a healing, give them a healing. It's very cool because you can actually use it inside Moonkin form. So if you see someone is about to die and your healer is busy, help out. Then we have our number 4, we have Solar Beam. Basically, it's interrupting and silencing everyone in like the area here. So you can see all of them is not able to cast spells anymore, which is quite insane. Like, it's a really, really strong interrupting / silence spell. We also got Wild Charge, which is just bouncing you back in case you're standing at fire. You can very quickly get out. In case someone is chasing your healer, you can use Entangling Roots as well in Moonkin form, and it will like basically make them stop moving. You also got Remove Corruption, so in case like your healer is busy again and you want to help removing curses and poisons, you can do that as well on either you or your allies. We also got Dash in case you really need to like get out of there. And we also have this one here, which I love this one here, Heart of the Wild. If someone is needing healing, like let's say the boss is doing a lot of AoE healing, like big damage healing, then you can use Heart of the Wild, and it will basically heal everyone in your party by a lot, because it's like casting like a very, very strong Wild Growth. And then you just very quickly go back into Moonkin form. I just love it, because you're basically just healing everyone in your party, which is great. You can also use it inside bear form, where it will increase your maximum health by 30, but this one here is just like, it's so great being able to help your healer, which is like a big AoE healing. We also got Stamping Roar in case you want to make everyone run faster, in case, so help everyone run faster. We also got Baskin, which is reducing all damage you take by 30 and increase healing by 20, also pretty neat. And then a very cool trick for you. If you see these 3 mobs casting a spell and you kind of want to interrupt them all, yes, we do have Solar Beam we can use, which is going to silence them all. Great. But what if they were casting and you have this on cooldown? So a lot of people, they really think this is a cool thing to do. You can use down first Ursal Vortex. Basically, this spell, if they leave the area, they will push back. Then you use Typhoon, because then they get pushed back. But because of Vortex, they're going to be pulled in again. Because if you just use Typhoon, you kind of like maybe upsetting the tank or half of the team, because they're like, ugh, Druid, why are you pushing around the mobs? Now we're going to chase them and put them into a group again. But when you're dropping down Ursal Vortex and then pushing them with Typhoon, then basically they are getting pushed back again. You're pushing them out and you're pushing them back. The mobs is going to be like bouncing back and forth, which is super cool. So that's another one. We have our little Solar Beam to AoE interrupt. We got our Typhoon to interrupt. And we also got Incapacitating Roar, which is basically sapping them all for 2 seconds, which is also insane. So you actually got 3 things you can use to interrupt everyone, which is crazy. Like, if you just know your cooldowns and you're actually good at using them, the mobs will never be allowed to cast. Like the other people don't even need to like interrupt. You can handle that yourself, which is insane. Then we also got Soothe in case you want to remove dispelling all enrage effects. So if like there's a mob or a boss that has enrage effects, you can like remove it. It can be very useful. We also got Brawl in case you want to go into stealth quickly. We also got combat rest, so if someone dies, you can combat rest them. And then, of course, we have Markets of Wild, which is your buff. It's very, very important you keep this one up because it actually gives you 100% more because of this talent here, only to yourself. So it gives you 6% versatility, which is flat out increasing your damage by 6%. Like 6% damage and healing. And 3% less damage to yourself, which is insane. So super simple rotation, as I'm trying to explain to you. Super simple talents, super simple rotation. There's nothing big we have to talk about here. It's just like all an easy one. But let's try see how this works on a boss fight and see how fun it looks. The first example, for example, if we have different mobs here, we can do like a very quick pull here. We're just gonna, I know I'm playing on follow mode, but I'm on the beta, so it's just so much easier. For example, dotting up everything, you know, it's not gonna dot up for you like all the different mobs, so you still have to like click on all the different mobs to dot them up. Now we're just gonna select one target that has a lot of HP, and we're just gonna be spamming one, and you can see down here that it automatically uses a lot of AoE. I also use a burst, and you can see I'm actually doing the one doing most damage. I know still it's a follower mode dungeon, but still, I mean, they still do decent damage. But this is just to prove to you we can actually, I mean, 65 DPS we just did there, which is quite cool. But still, like, you know, it's decent, it's fun. And again, as I mentioned before, you kind of have to dot them all, because if I just press on one target, it's going to cast one Sunfire, which of course goes to it all automatically. It's going to use one Moonfire, which goes to 2 targets. But that's it. After that, it's not going to dot anymore. So if you can see already this guy here doesn't have a Moonfire, then just click on him or her, and you know, it's just automatically going to cast it in. So again, I would recommend you, again, Sunfire is automatically casting on all of them, but Moonfire should definitely be like casted everywhere. Of course, like this, where you have like 10 mobs here, then I don't want to click on each of them because they're going to die before that. But yeah, still to the point, and I'm going to die. Alright, so boss time. Basically, we are going to be spamming one, and we're going to be using also Incarnation. I might want to just quickly dot up, and then when it's about to start bursting, I'm going to use Incarnation, so it really like does a lot of damage. And you actually just spam one, and it's automatically going to, yeah, you know, do all the rotation. And whenever like my Incarnation's going off, which is going to tell from here, then I can use the Incarnation again. Just spamming one. Now Incarnation is off. I'm going to be using number Incarnation again since we have 2 charges. And spamming one again. And it automatically reapplies all the dots for you, so you don't have to think about that as well. Yeah, you can see, quite basic. If anyone needed health, like healing, I could use my Heart of the Wild. If anyone needed regrowth, I could quickly heal them. You know, nothing wrong. And because I'm just pressing one, I can easily like look around and see if someone needs help. Now we can simply see the tank is starting to take a lot of damage, but it's quite annoying that he keeps casting this at me. Let's use a Wild Charge this time, just to get out. That wasn't really good. Then we could use a Heart of the Wild, get back into Moonkin form. There we go. Quite simple. And again, this is gonna make it so easy for you, if you know what I mean. Like it's such a casual experience running with this build here, and trust me, you can use this in keys and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for watching. This was the Balance Druid guide for my one button, single button guides. Again, it's a very simple build, very simple talents. We're using the meta talents because we want to deal most damage. The rotation is simple. It works really well with the single button assistant and Balance Druid. So you're gonna have a blast. You're literally gonna have a blast playing this build here. It's so good overall. So thanks for watching, have a great day, and really hope you enjoy the build. Keep in mind all my builds and all my different things. I'm trying to make a YouTube video for each of the different builds every day, but you can also find all the builds I've already made on my Discord. I think we have 18 builds now over there. I just made Protection Warrior today, but you will find all the different builds on my Discord as well. So link in the description, get to the Discord, and all my builds are waiting for you over there. So thanks for watching, have a great day. Feel free to subscribe or become a YouTube member and support the channel. I really appreciate all the members, and you will be shouted out in the end of the video, like with scrolling and so on. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next guide.